It's really hard to imagine Vera versus Font being anything other than a knockdown, drag-em-out war. And honestly, I really dislike using those types of cliches when I'm talking about this sport, but the reason those cliches even exist in the first place are because of guys like Chito Vera and Rob Font. I'm in Las Vegas this week on location covering this event and was able to speak to both guys in the main event on Wednesday. And as usual, both are in good spirits despite being just a couple days away from the weight cut. But what you see on the surface isn't always necessarily as telling as one might think. Case in point, at the official weigh-ins this morning, Font came in overweight by a couple pounds, which of course is never a good sign, especially when it happens for a contest that's an opportunity of a lifetime. It's always hard not to speculate, but given the circumstances, you have to wonder what happened with Font, and if he's dealing with a sickness or an injury that prevented him from being able to beat the scale. Or, for all we know, life could have gotten in the way and perhaps something bigger than fighting interfered with his preparation. Or maybe he had discipline issues this camp. Who knows? All I know is that no matter what the reason is, it only bodes well for Vera and not so well for Font. It gives Vera a mental edge going into this fight, and if there's one fighter you do not want to give that edge to, it's Chito Vera. Because that man is already a very focused and disciplined individual as it is, a fighter who has really hit their stride and is seemingly on the path to hitting their peak. I asked Chito about what changes he had to make to his camp in preparation for the first 5-round fight of his career, and he basically told me that he simply just adds 2 rounds onto sparring. He was pretty nonchalant about the training itself. He said that he doesn't even really do training camps anymore because he's not the type of fighter that disappears from the gym when outside of competition. He's always in the gym and always training, always evolving, always adding tools. He said he's at the point in his career right now where he knows how to fight. Now his preparation is more about making sure his mind is right, which is a part of the game you really get the impression that he has down pat. He went on to talk about how he was in great spirits this week, and I reminded him that what he was saying was essentially the exact same thing he was saying on his last fight week when he scored the most impressive victory of his career over Frankie Edgar. I asked if all the positivity was a result of just being at a point in his career where he's just firing on all cylinders, and he said that that was accurate. I believe that Vera is a very, very difficult man to have to face right now, and in light of Font missing weight, that only furthers the odds of Chito making a statement on Saturday night. But not so fast. Whether he missed weight or not, Rob Font is nobody's fool. Aside from being tough as nails, skilled defensively, and having the boxing skills to be able to hang with Vera all day, he has a lot more experience competing in 5-round fights than his counterpart. This will be the 3rd 5-round fight in a row for Font, and when I asked him if he believed that his experience in the championship rounds would be an advantage for him, he said yes. He explained that when he did his first 5-round fight against Cody Garbrandt, it ended up being a pretty eye-opening experience. He also said that it depends on the type of fight that unfolds. Font said that if it's a slower-paced feeling-out process, the extra rounds don't really make that big of a difference. However, if it starts off being a slugfest with all the ups and downs, those extra couple of rounds can be a big difference maker. Either way, the style of both of these fighters promises an entertaining tilt. Anytime either Font or Vera are involved, you know the chances of the fans getting what they want is very high. It's unfortunate that Font missed weight because you all know how this sport works. This fight doesn't necessarily have title implications, but all it takes is for someone to have a spectacular performance. By Sunday morning, fans are going to be clamoring for them to be next in line for a title shot. And if I have one takeaway from this fight week, it's that if there's one fighter out there right now who's on the cusp of really breaking out and putting on a career-defining performance that's going to move them on to the next level, it's Marlon Chito Vera.